Okay, I get the question. I described myself as an atheist in a previous video, and depending on how you define the term, I may or may not actually be one, because the word is used in different ways. Let's talk about that. If you are asking, how can a smart person, thanks for the compliment, how can a smart person be an atheist? You understand agnostic, but atheist is a stretch. I imagine you're using atheist in a strong sense of having knowledge that there is no God. Actual knowledge, proof. And religion is notoriously not the sort of thing you can have proof about. So if you're using the term atheist in that way, then it is smarter to be an agnostic, to admit that you don't know. But we don't use a definition that strict for religious people. We don't only allow people to call themselves religious if they have proof of the existence of whoever their God is. Instead, we call people religious if they believe enough to live their lives as if their belief was true. And if we use the same definition for atheism, it becomes much more broad and accessible. Bertrand Russell used the following example. You cannot prove that there is no China teapot in orbit around the sun between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. But it's not very likely, is it? It's fine to live your life as if there was no teapot. As a matter of fact, this is the sort of reasoning people from most religions apply without a second thought to all the gods in all the other religions. Everyone who's a believer, well, everyone is a big word. Most of the people who are believers, all the visible ones from where I stand, have no difficulty living as if the gods of the other religions do not exist. So I am an atheist in the same way that a Christian is not a Muslim, that a Hindu is not a Jew. Do I have proof that there is no God? No, I don't. But I live my life as if there wasn't a God. Now, there is another layer to this, because I've just made the whole beginning of this video using terms like the existence of a God in the most usual way to use that term, which is that gods, if they exist, are supposed to exist completely independently of the existence of us or our stories or our thoughts. You see where I'm getting? Because we humans have a superpower. Some of the things we invent become parts of the world that has consequences. We tell stories, we tell myths, we tell legends. We invent things like money, like nations, and like gods. If we share the stories enough, and if we draw practical conclusions from the stories for our actions, then the thing we invented in the story exists in a way. And in that sense, I am decidedly not an atheist. Many gods exist in that way in the world, even more than we have names for, because sometimes people use the same names, but they're not talking about the same kind of God behind that same name. Some of them are scary. I won't be lighting candles or praying to them anytime soon. But do they exist in that sense, in the same sense that money exists and nations exist? Do they exist as effective fictions? They absolutely do. And in that admittedly very unusual sense of the word, I don't think anyone can be an atheist. Yeah.